All right, you guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. My name is Langston Pates, and we are the McLean County Reentry Council. Our goal is to, individuals that have been impacted by the justice system and have re-entered back into McLean County, connect with resources. So today we're gonna have a panel discussion with some people that have been impacted by the justice system and have re-entered specifically back into McLean County. Myself, I am also a justice impacted individual. I've done time in multiple county jails, state and federal prison. I came home in 2019, home in McLean County as a business owner, a real estate investor, and a board member of the McLean County Reentry Council. I would like to, before we get started with our panelists, I would like to introduce everybody who's on the call, just kind of let them know who it is they're speaking to. This is you guys, for me, our goal is to have resources, and everyone on this call usually comes here to find out how these panel discussions are awesome because it's a chance for us to gather resources. It's a chance for us to hear from people who have walked that path, hear what works for them, what didn't, and just how the community embraced them during their journey of reentry. So I would like to go ahead and start. It looks like we've got Toy. Toy, are you on here? Are you able to introduce yourself?
Yes. Good afternoon to all. I'm actually on Bluetooth in my car, transitioning back from a location I was at today for work. But anyway, Toy Beasley, I'm the McLean County Reentry Council president. I also work for an agency called TAS, Treatment Alternatives for Safer Communities. And I'm also a person that have been just as impacted. Very grateful to be here today. Glad you guys are on.
Thank you, Toy. Looks like we've got, let's go, Kat. Kat, you're on here?
I am Kat Hayes. I am the recovery specialist for the McLean County Recovery Oriented System of Care. And we do a lot of what actually the Reentry Council does, which is, we serve as a resource connector for people in recovery from both substance use and mental health challenges. We also do education and stigma reduction on each of those kinds of challenges as well.
Very good. Thank you, Kat. We've got Colleen. Colleen, where you at?
Hey, everybody. I am Colleen. I'm the outreach manager at Bloomington Public Library, and I'm also on the reentry board. Good to see y'all.
Let's see. I've got Georgine. Where you at, Georgine?
Here I am. Sorry, my call kept dropping. Sorry about that. This is Georgine Chiselle from the NAACP Political Action Committee Chair. And hello to everybody.
Hello, Georgine. Hello. Looks like I've got housing Nav. Who's that?
Janet Hood.
Just shows me.
I'm happy to be with you. I'm from Mid Central Community Action. And my job, regardless of what your background is, to assist individuals who have a sustainable income in paying for first month rent and deposit. We don't find apartments, houses for people, but when you have found something, if you meet the guidelines, we can help pay that first month rent and deposit. So I wanted to have the opportunity to be among this group, just so you know.
Thank you for being with us today. It looks like Jacqueline, you're up.
Let's find unmute for a moment.
Right. Should we go right?
Director of Inmate Services at the jail.
Yeah. Okay. I normally join like the, I think the key's been misviewed.
Inmate Services. So you're the one we write our grievances to.
No.
Let me grab the key from Ms. Viewer.
That is one of the few things I don't have to read or do is the grievances. You breathe away from me. You just tell me in person when you're writing a grievance.
Okay. Let's see. Jessica Mayhew.
Yeah, so I'm obviously Jessica Mayhew, the Southern Region Reentry Manager for Department of Corrections. And so I cover everything from Peoria South as far as it goes to pre and post release services. And I will throw out there just really quick kind of an announcement that we are in the beta testing phase of our basically it's our IDOC Indeed. And so pretty soon individuals will be able to apply for jobs pre-release, hopefully even get interviews and potentially even hired, prior to release. We've been working on this for a long time. So this week and next week is beta testing. If all goes well, we'll hopefully be rolling it out pretty quickly and looking for employers who are obviously only employers who are willing to hire justice impacted individuals.
Loving all of that right now, Jessica. It's so needed.
Awesome. We thank you.
We're very excited.
Let's see, Marla.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marla Elmore. I work for the Department of Corrections with Parole and Reentry. So Jessica Mayhew is my supervisor. I'm a corrections assessment specialist out of the Champaign Parole Office. And basically, it's my job to help those new on parole getting hooked up with resources, any kind. So
I love it. Michelle.
Hello, I'm Michelle from the Bloomington Public Library. I do community engagement outreach and I drive the bookmobile. I also am on the Reentry Council board.
Thank you, Michelle. It's showing up as Millicent. Millicent.
Hi, I'm Millicent. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It looks like my camera's not working. I also work as a corrections assessment specialist along with Marla, and we both work for Jessica. I work out of the Springfield office, and I work with people who have paroled into District 3, which for us, that means Springfield to Western Illinois. I cover a 16-county area, and I help people to link with area resources. So I'm on this call to learn more about the resources and to learn more about what works for recidivism. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's see, Nadine.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, my name is Nadine. I am the behavioral health specialist at the McLean County Health Department. And within our program, our focus is to promote mental wellness, we like to say. And so I'm on this call also to learn a little bit more.
Thank you, Nadine. Who have we not gotten to? Sarah?
Hi, how is everybody today? Happy
Good.
Friday. My name's Sarah. I'm with the Normal Police Department. I'm actually a mental health clinician here. So I work with officers to also help provide them with resources they can give to people, especially if they have kind of multiple contacts, but so we can also change the way that the community and law enforcement are interacting with each other. So very happy to be here and appreciative of that.
Thank you. Tommy, where you at, Tommy? Tommy, you with us? I think
Tommy's got
that might be everybody. Did I miss anyone? I don't think I missed anybody. All right, you guys. Well, hey, Tommy from everyone. He says mic issues. Okay, Tommy's with us, but he's having mic issues. Thank you for being with us, Tommy. You guys, we're gonna dive right in. So this panel discussion is really just, like I said, to increase, education, resources, autonomy to vulnerable populations throughout Bloomington to normal and to decrease prison recidivism rates and family crisis episodes. And we're going to do that today by hearing straight from the horse's mouth. We're going to hear, what worked for these guys and what didn't. I would like to introduce our four panelists. I'm going to go through and just let them say a quick what's up. Courtney Lusher.
Hello, how are you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Courtney.
Awesome.
I like that. It's a great way to just be able to test, make sure your mic's working. And,
yeah. I don't want to yell through it. My name's Courtney Lusher.
Michael Sullivan. Michael, you on here?
Yeah, I'm here.
There he is, Mr. Sullivan. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, bro. How about yourself?
Good. We thank you for being here with us today. We've got Kayla Roman.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank
And
you.
Anthony Gillespie. Anthony, you still with us? All right. Well,
Can you hear me?
there he is, Mr.
Okay, there we go.
Gillespie. All
Hello,
right.
hello.
He's back. All right. Well, my first question, I'm kind of go back down the row I just did. My first question is for Courtney. I'm gonna ask Courtney, what was pre-incarceration like for you? Your upbringing, social connections. Now, I also realize some of us have been to prison or jail or substance abuse treatment multiple times. So for the sake of, you can kind of choose one, the last one, kind of what that looked like for you, what led up to incarceration, what type of lifestyle you were living that led you there in the first place. Courtney.
Hello again. So, growing up, man, it was rough. No father figure at all in the picture. I had two brothers and two sisters. Man, I lived that poor life, trailer park. It started from just not having what everybody else had, and then being poor, I just started selling drugs. Man, I was selling drugs at 12 years old. And I was, that last time I got made fun of wearing some Payless shoes in the school, kind of turned my ways around, led me in the bad direction from that day on. So therefore, I started raising my brothers and sisters. Then started getting deeper into stuff that I shouldn't have been into, and one thing leads to another. And by the time you know it, I was in and out of incarceration, in and out of county jail at 17. That was my first charge. Did some stint in the county, and then I went to prison again. I was 21 for selling drugs. So that just wasn't enough. I did a little year and a half, came out, worked. I was working, but I was hanging around that same crowd of people. That same crowd of people is what got me right back into the BS, So once I got back, I was back in the same crowd, which has affected my whole life. Started selling again. And this time they really set me down. It led me up to doing 10 years straight in prison for cocaine. A lot of my growing up, man, is I always try to fit in because I really didn't have no one there, and just playing like, what does this person have that I can't have or I don't have, And then next thing you know, I'm just so knee deep in it, man, that I couldn't get out of it. And them so-called friends weren't my friends. They're promoting me to, hey, hang out with them, do things with them, stay away from my family. Lost a lot of family time and friends and family in the process.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for sharing. Kayla, kind of the same question. What was, either incarceration or substance abuse, kind of what did that look like for you? Your upbringing, kind of social connections, lifestyle, before reentry. What did that look like for you?
Well, I was raised by drug addicts. When I was 7 years old, I lost my father to a heroin overdose. My mom didn't know he was using it, so she kind of checked out after that as a mother. So I kind of raised myself for a long time, and same thing, growing up in poverty, growing up in filth. So I kind of developed that identity where I hid, I was somebody I wasn't. I played all these sports and did great in school, but I could never let anybody at my house. I can never let anybody see the way I live, And then I found out my mom was also a drug user. And after that, I kind of went through a huge switch in my life because, I'm like, I lost my father to drugs. My father chose drugs over me. My mom, she's going to die from drugs. She's choosing over me, and it was just me and my brother. And after that, I just kind of started smoking weed. I started drinking every day, selling weed, working, hustling, making money and living that lifestyle because I guess I felt like I didn't really have an importance in life anymore. Slowly but gradually, my drug use got severe. It went from smoking weed to drinking to cocaine to ecstasy to crack, and eventually my addiction career ended in shooting up methamphetamine. because of like all of this, I just lost both my brothers. Well, I lost one in August of 2022, and I lost my other brother in July of 2023, also to a drug overdose. So losing three, you know, male role models in my life, you know, to a drug overdose. And I've pretty much been in and out of jail and rehabs and so many different programs, just trying to get my life together and figure out who I am. But, you know, right now I probably have 2 days clean today. And I'm just living my best life, I could say right now, because this is definitely the best I've ever lived my life. So
That's awesome. Hey, Anthony, my same question. What was pre-incarceration like for you? Before, you know, you were in prison, before you had to reenter back into McLean County. Talk to us about your upbringing, social connections, lifestyle, previous.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can hear me
Yep,
well?
yep.
So typical kid from the west side of Bloomington. Courtney's story, you know, we all of us, for the most part, we all of us grew up together, you know, trying to be somebody that I'm not, trying to insert myself into a space that I know nothing about. Like, you know, just the typical thing. My mom struggled, you know, father was around, but wasn't around, you know. Drug addiction didn't come in my family until later on. And I felt like, well, if I'm not doing drugs, I could, you know, sell drugs because it'll combat the fact that we're poor and we didn't have the things that we needed to have. And, you know, the just like Courtney said, social stuff and stuff like that. And, you know, pretty much with like anything in Bloomington, if you get, you know, once you get hooked up, you're hooked up forever. And, you know, it's really weird, like, to even be asking this panel. Like, I kind of look back over my life, like I'm 41, and I think I don't really remember a time since, you know, for as long as I can remember back, like when I wasn't in some type of trouble or haven't been on some type of probation or something. And I was like, man, I really got hooked up. So now it's kind of like, and I'm speaking pre this, like, well, I'm in it, I might as well just stay in it. It just is what it is. We're just gonna keep rolling with this whole be in trouble thing because, you know, it's on to the next thing. And it just was, I lost all value for myself, value for other people, and just, you know, we're just in it. I'm in it, you know. So that's kind of the mentality that I had for the longest time. And it took for me really to have to take a look at myself and realize some of the people that I've hurt and some of the things that I've done, you know, in the course of this, to like kind of realize, like, you know, I always pride myself like, well, I never did drugs. I wasn't a drug addict. So, you know, I'm not that, but I was everything else, you know, everything else under the sun, you know. So that's kind of, you know, like I said, we all basically got the same story for the most part.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing with us. I think it's important for people to understand that when we're introduced to some of these things that in an early adolescence as young men, and we get involved, it becomes our identity. And then it's hard to let go of your identity. It becomes who you are. And that's what people know you for. And without that, it's hard to let that go. Michael, my man, Michael, what that looked like for you? What type of upbringing did you have? What type of lifestyle were you living that led you to being incarcerated?
All right, so basically mine was more of just like Anthony was talking about, like my mom, my dad wasn't there. So it was more of me being the head of the household and me wanting to be able to provide for my mom and my family. And once it is, even though I never was like a heavy drug user, you know, so I smoked weed or whatever the case may be, it was still like you were still chasing that high of that money. You know what I'm saying? So it was more of I was addicted to the money that came with, you know what I'm saying, the drugs than I was anything else. Because I was providing for my family. And I looked at it as I wasn't doing anything wrong because I was selling to people who wanted it. I wasn't pushing drugs. I was selling drugs to people that wanted it. That's how I looked at it back then. And I, you know, I went to prison more than once for doing the same thing. So basically, you know, I didn't learn my lesson until late. And just like you were just touching on, like I identified as, you know, if I was a drug seller, then that's what I was going to be. How could I, you know, I wasn't good enough to be anything else but a drug dealer. But come to realize, like, when I was in prison, I did come to realize that, like, yo, nah, this is not what's up. Like, this is not what's it. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, I did realize, like, yo, this is not who I am, and this is not who I identify as anymore. You know what I'm saying? So mine was just more of like me justifying me selling drugs that I was helping my family out. So that's what led to me being there.
Very good. Thank you for sharing that with us. Courtney, I'm going to double back to you. I want you to talk to me about how, your incarceration affected your family.
So incarceration has affected my family in multiple ways. Half the time the family didn't really know what I was doing, but when didn't also want to ask. I was a provider of income. Once that was snagged away, I seen that my family was struggling. Not only was I the man of the household of my little brothers and sisters, I was a role model when I was good. When they started seeing me do bad, go to prison a couple times, seen the house get raided, man, it really affects your family the rest of their life. Man, I remember sitting up there in the visiting room, and my aunt came up and told me, "Hey, I got so long to live, and I'm doing a decade, man. So it's not like you can't make up that time, man." So, not only did it affect the income, it affected man, it hurt them. The relationship you build and bond with someone from prison behind doors and told when you can do this, told when you can do that, can't call when they want you to call. It really takes a toll on people, man. And you really don't understand that as who I was until then they start crying in my face. Like, this is how you affected us, Courtney. We want you to do better next time. We want you to do better while you're in here. We need you out here. You're missing your brother's football games. You're missing your grandma's last chance to have dinner with and stuff, So I lost a lot, man. And some of the family members were totally against me because, hey, I was in prison. I broke the law. But if they really would have got that chance to speak to me, and it came to me as a man or woman and say, "Hey, Courtney, why were you doing what you're doing?" Then all of a sudden, then they started, tampering away, and then you're calling home asking your mom, "Hey, mom, why is my uncle being like that?" Well, she didn't want to tell me the truth, So it affects the family. So it affected my family so bad, man, that they were giving up out here without me. So I'd have to call out to a couple friends I had left. I had the Fab Five, man. Hey, I was lucky to have 5 people row with me. You know what I'm saying? And
Shout out to those guys.
yes, absolutely. And hey, can you go by there and check on my mom? Can you go by there and take her some food? Can you take the kids something? Can you watch my little brother play football? So, man, I tore my family apart, man, by being in trouble and going to DLC. I did some lengthy time. They keep asking, "Hey, how many more Christmases you got? How many more Christmases you got?" And not be able to give them or be there with my family, man, to watch them open presents, have that good dinner, and bond and make memories. Man, it hurts, and it hurt them as well. Then they start taking pictures, my old pictures I had, and start putting them in with their pictures. So it really hurts, man. It really drug my little brother and sister. They started drinking a lot, man. And as I did from 29 to 39. So they were young, 18, 17, 16, all that. I missed all them good days, man. And they started turning to alcohol, because they never had dad or that male figure there no more, man. All of a sudden I'm gone. And they were too young then at that time to understand really what's going on. So then I had to bring them back into who I really am as a person, not the mistake that I made. I made a mistake, but I'm not a mistake, So once I started reaching out to them and talking to them about this stuff and hey, how I made a mistake, this is who I am. It's done. I did it. I'm manning up to it. But this is what I'm gonna do from here on out. And this is what I'm gonna do better and spend more time with you guys. But man, to stay on that note, man, man, it tore my family apart, man. It really did.
I'm hearing what you're saying it's the cycle. We grew up without fathers, without positive male role models. and we ended up following a certain path, right? We then ended up incarcerated, and now we have young men behind us, whether it's sons or nephews or brothers, and they're now out here making decisions without positive male role models. And so that's that cycle. That's what I'm hearing. It affected some of the young men in your life, because they then too are now world as a young man without a positive young male role model. So thank you for sharing. Kayla, one of my questions for you is what are the most common like pitfalls or mistakes that you made, during your recovery? Before that 100, and something odd days that you have, before then, what were some major mistakes that you made during your recovery?
I mean, I by far definitely like not being honest with myself, not listening to my gut instinct of like what's best for me. Because like, a big discussion we're having right now is an identity thing. Like, who am I as a person? What do I really like? What am I really here as a person? Because my identity was a drug user, my identity was through like abusive boyfriends that I had, and just everything but me. So it was really hard for me to make good decisions of what was best for me in my life. I mean, I'm good at like going to meetings and stuff and meeting people, but to actually be raw and real about like how I'm really feeling in my life, what am I going through, to actually receive the help that I need as a person to succeed, I struggle, because I have so much shame that I've dealt with, or I'm just so used to hiding behind my mask of my mini mask of what I like feel like I should be for that person to accept me, the whole accepting thing of others accepting me because of what I did not receive as a child, being neglected. I mean, I'm just a professional actor sometimes, I feel like. I mean, I'm still working on every day to figure out who I am as a person. What are really my needs, instead of me getting sucked into adapting to my surroundings and, meeting everybody else's needs, and because of that, I've suffered. And then I become delusional about who I am as a person. And then, I beat myself up, and then the cycle just begins all over again. And because in the end, I just don't really know who I am. So I'm not really friends with myself. So I'm constantly self-sabotaging myself because I'm not meeting my needs as a person. What's that?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anthony, I'm coming to you. I know you have kids. I know you've got a lot of kids out here, man. And I know for a fact that they had to be affected by your incarceration. And we would like to hear about that a little bit from you as a father, with children out here. How was your family affected by you going to jail?
So growing up, so like let me say it like this. Growing up with as a man or a young man without a father, knowing or having these children, like my sole responsibility was like, I got to be in my kid's life. I'm going to football games. We're doing ballets. We're doing this. We're doing all of that. And so early on when my children were young and I was immersed when I was really immersed in the lifestyle, I felt like I was being a good father by, being there and spending money and doing the things and all the stuff, right? So I struggle with, did I really love my kids the way I'm supposed to love my kids? So when I got an opportunity, not saying an opportunity, I would never say that, but when I was taken away from them, and I was in this space and I was here, and it was like, as much as I dreaded having to go sit through gymnastics with my daughters all at one time screaming and having to pay for McDonald's after, I hated it, whatever, when I'm sitting here, like now this is not an option, being a good father to my kids is not an option. It's like, I don't know. So I'm calling home and like, it just like, it makes me emotional even thinking about it. I would call home and my youngest daughter, I have two sets of twins. My youngest daughter, she would ask me every time on the phone, she's like, Dad, what did you eat today? I'm like, I ate a tuna wrap. She's like, they got tuna wraps in jail? And I'm like, and like I never lied to my kids about where I was at. I wanted them to understand what it was. But when I told her, like, she's like, they got tuna wraps in jail. I'm like, yeah, they got tuna wraps, they got donuts, they got this and she got that. And it was like I was normalizing this place that I'm in. And I'm like, no, baby, don't They're disgusting. You don't ever want to taste them. I pray to God, I don't know. That's not a thing. But so I've been to jail 3 times, and I've only been home I said this time, but I've been home now for 13 months. My kids, I did 17 months. So before that, I hadn't been in jail and I hadn't been in trouble in 20 years. So knowing the lifestyle that my kids lived before this situation and now, when I came home, I had to reintroduce myself and re-meet my kids and relearn my kids, because I was so active with my kids. They were a certain type of way and I was used to them being a certain type of way. Well, you combat the fact that I was gone and the mental, the toll that took on them. Then in addition to them all, like, in being teenage and preteen and all that stuff. So, that comes with it too. So when I come home, like, I'm talking to my kids, and like the way that they're talking to me, like, it wasn't I'm looking for them to respect me and talk to me a certain type of way. It just was like, I don't even know you. Like, where are we at? What are we talking about? Like, what part of life are we in right now? Because the stuff, you guys are like 12 pages past this and I missed all this stuff. So like, I never really thought that it affected my kids. But then when I talked to them, I realized how much it really affected them, because my daughter was hung up on me not making it to her national championship for, cheerleading. And my son is a state wrestling champion and I didn't get to go to that. So they sent me the pictures and all this stuff. And like, I'm having to live vicariously through pictures when I normally would be in that space. So early on, like I said, when I went to jail the first time, like, it really wasn't that much, but now they're accomplishing things and they're setting their goals and they're killing them, they're crushing them. And I'm not being able to be a part of that. Like, I genuinely can see the change in my children with that. We are on the path and we are on the road to having better relationships and doing other things. And honestly, I was a person like, counseling, I'm not going to no damn counseling. I don't go to counseling. Like, that's not for me. I think that counseling is what saved us, because, I didn't want to hear. I'm gonna just keep it real. Like, I didn't want to hear what they had to say. Like, I was nervous because they might say something to hurt my feelings, and I'm like, I don't want to feel that feeling. I don't want to touch that. I don't want to be a part of that, because I made a mistake and I forgave myself for my mistake. So you guys need to forgive me, and we're gonna buy you some stuff, and we're gonna be right back to living regular life. And that wasn't the case. So we had to. That for me, hands down, probably the hardest transition that I had to make, is to take ownership, regardless of how I felt about what the police did, what the state did, however I felt. Ultimately, it was what I had to do with them and that path that I had to take with them. And we're still, like, even till this day, right now, like, we're still, sorting through some of the bugs and some of the things. But I mean, through the grace of God, like, we're in a different space now and we're communicating about it and we're talking about it. So I'm just thankful for every day that we get a chance to talk about this stuff. They still like to spend a lot of money at McDonald's, but whatever,
I want to elaborate on something you said real quick, and I hope everybody, on the call really caught it. Counseling. A lot of people who come home from prison need, can benefit from counseling. But the children as well, our families as well, therapy and counseling together. Learning a safe space to, connect and learn how to talk about your feelings again after being away and not having that bond, as close of a bond from being separated. It's okay to insert, counseling even for family when someone is re-entering back into the community and back into their home. I love that. And I think that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. Mike, I want to get down to the nitty gritty. I want you to talk about barriers, like just when you came home, after serving the time that you spent, you came home, you've got this new mindset. But that doesn't mean that the clouds just parted and the sun was shining and everybody was on Team Michael. Talk to me about what type of barriers you faced as, someone coming home from the justice system.
So so I did 10 years, and I did 10 years in federal prison. So coming home, I mean, during that time, to give you a little backstory, I had to do a whole transformation. For you guys that you probably don't know, I was 350 pounds, and my mindset was not right, but my physical wasn't right. So in order for me to change, I came to a real Jesus moment while I was in jail. Like I had to either change or I was going to die. Either I was going to die from not taking care of myself, or I was going to die from the street life. So I knew that, there was some greater calling for myself. And that come to Jesus moment came as like, hey, if we're going to change, we got to change right now, because if we don't, we're going to do all this time and we're going to come right back in here and we're going to do the same thing. And the last thing I said that told me is like, I'm not going to come back to the jail and somebody's going to be calling me Papa G or old man. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So I was saying, honestly, I was like, you know what? The old me has to go if a new me has to be alive. And I was like, I'm not going to let anybody, nothing's going to stand in my way. No one's going to stand in my way. And I'm going to do this. So I lost like 200 pounds. I went from 350 to 195. And from there on then, I built the mindset of like, hey, you know what? I don't care what it's going to take. I don't care if I got to work at McDonald's for 2 years or whatever the case I need to be in order for me to get where I need to, but I'm going to do it. When I did come home, though, I worked as a cook. I worked as a cook for 8 years. I was the head cook. I did my job so well that they didn't have to do their job. They basically came in, turned the key. I did what I needed to do. But as far as cooking, I can cook anything from scratch. I could do it. So automatically, I think I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna get these good jobs as a cook. No. When you have any, there's a couple of times where I had a job or I had an interview. I would go to the second interview, maybe even the third interview, and we would talk about getting a good job. The minute they found out that I had went to prison, I could no longer get those jobs. So it came to a point where it was like, it was either, am I going to let those no's defeat me, or am I going to let them no's keep me going? And I took those no's and I was like, you know what? That no doesn't mean anything. I'm closer to one more yes. So I just kept letting, just because doors got slammed in my face didn't mean that I was going to be deterred, because I was not. The one thing is for sure, two things for certain. I was not going back to jail. I had too much to live for. I had learned how to bid in jail. Now I needed to learn how to bid on the streets. And I didn't care how anybody else. And basically, that's not to get too far down the road, but that's the whole thing behind my movement is I don't care how anybody else feels about my past. Just because I made a mistake, I think somebody else said it earlier, I'm not a mistake. You know what I'm saying? My past doesn't define me. You know what I'm saying? What I'm doing now defines who I am. I'm going to change as many lives as I affected negatively in a positive way. So now my mindset is I don't, care how anybody else feels that I've been to prison or I made these mistakes. My thing is I'm going to show people what can happen if you throw your life away and what you can do with it positively now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to show you that you can throw it away and get it all back, but I don't want you to throw it away. I want you to keep it and keep going what you're doing now. So even though things didn't go, the barriers I met were just trying to find gainful employment. But once I did find gainful employment, I had to get not only one job, but probably two. And then I had to get three. But like I said, it was better me working those 3 jobs than me sitting in federal prison and not saying knowing my family was safe and knowing my family was taken care of. But those 3 jobs paid off. Now I'm self-employed and now I have my own business and now I'm doing what I want to do as a personal trainer.
I love that. I love that, Mike. And it's crazy because, I've been to a United States penitentiary as well, and you have to work. And it's you have to have a job. And it's so crazy the number of guys that wouldn't work in the world, right? And they're doing all these things in the world, and now they're in prison and they're working in the kitchen, they're working in laundry, they're mopping floors, they're stealing food out the kitchen and doing all these things that they wouldn't do in the world, but they came to prison to do it, and so you make so much more an hour out here in the world than you do in prison. And I would love for a lot of these young men to understand that it's way easier and you make way more money for the work that you do, even if it's mopping floors or working in a kitchen, than you do incarcerated. Thank you. And I too, Mike, caught that. And Courtney, thank you for that quote today, man. I wrote it down myself. I made that mistake. I love that. you guys. I love that. Kayla, I want you to, talk to me about what your support system looks like now. Like during your recovery, the people that you surrounded yourself while you were in active addiction, what does your support system look like today?
Love, unconditional love, like people who like genuinely have like my best interest at heart. You know, I spent my whole life like hanging around people who were just, I mean, I don't want to call them bad people because they're just suffering from the same thing that I'm suffering from, just not really knowing who I am and just getting in where I fit in or what I know in life. But my support system now is rooting me all the way. When I'm down, they lift me back up, you know, because I'm a human being. And of course, like there's times where I'm not going to be on my A game, and they're always right there to pick me back up. And I mean, it wasn't easy getting a support system at all whatsoever. You know, I had to make sure I showed up all the time. I had to show my willingness to actually want to change and do better with my life, you know, because just understanding how important a support system is for myself, but it's also important for the people who are giving me the support, for me to respect them as people, you know, respect their time and energy that they're putting into me as a person. Like, I mean, it's a big growth process for all of us. Yeah, I love my support system now. I'm in a great environment, and I'm with people who want to see me win for once. So
Awesome. If you don't mind me asking, what like resources as far as treatment facilities or programs did you utilize here in McLean County?
right now I'm actually a client at the Labyrinth House, which is ran by the YWCA. It's a great program. They take care of, you know, I'm living in an apartment. We go to groups all the time. Tonight we're going to like a group painting thing where all of us girls are going to go paint with each other. You know, it's kind of cool, from different girls from different environments and different upbringings. We all come together. We're all here for each other. I mean, it's a wonderful. I'm also, I also go to New Horizon, which I don't know if anybody really knows about that one, but it's a program right down the road. They have like all kinds of different fun classes. Once again, like for your downtime when you're not doing anything, you know, they have like painting class, music class, dance class, like a book club. And the book club was super awesome because the guy who actually wrote the book actually did a speaker meeting over here in Clinton, and we got to go to that and meet him, and he signed our book. And there's just all kinds of good stuff out here in McLean County. Like I'm originally from Peoria County, so to like just come down here and just like get into it. And I'm also part of Integrity. Like I go to Integrity for grief group, and I also go to therapy week also. So I'm involved in a lot of support around this county.
Kayla, you just hit 3 of my favorite nonprofits. I helped do the research to establish the Recovery Community Center, and I'm a volunteer over at Integrity Counseling.
Yeah, I love it.
I love hearing that you're utilizing those community
Well,
resources.
thank you for sharing, and that's why I asked, because I wanted anybody that goes back and watches this to hear what's working. You know, what is working for you. It's utilizing your time, your downtime, finding things and other people to be around in fun projects and art. It's good to hear what's working, and so thank you for naming off 3. That's awesome. Courtney, I'm coming back to you, man. This is one of my favorite parts about all of this is hearing what you guys have going on now, right? We've been incarcerated. We've dealt with substance abuse treatment. We've been down and out. We had to leave the community and our families, and then we had to come back. We had to rebuild. When you, Anthony, Mike, you guys are a lot like me in the sense that, when you can provide somebody with a service or product, right? You can then deliver that service or that product, and then you can enroll other people to help you with 1 and 2. You're either ready to go to prison or you're ready to become a business owner, an entrepreneur, or something like that. And so, Courtney, I'm really interested in hearing, just what your life looks like now, the things you have going on, how you kind of transitioned into that from coming home, what the support looked like for you, and what you're doing now in the community.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay. Wow. Man, so I just kind of recapping everybody's story, and I'm sitting here thinking, man, how did I get to where I'm at today? So when I came home, man, number one rule was when I knew what I had to do, and I told myself this when I was in prison. I have to eliminate all them old cats, old numbers, old so-called friends or fans. Man, if you haven't been that Fab Five I'm talking about, we have nothing to talk about. Okay. So once I did touchdown, man, I had them 5 friends, man, and my family that was left, a couple of them died while I was gone. Man, they gave me the most motivation. They said, "Man, look, man, you got this. Like your motivation. You're speaking from prison. You're helping out your family as much as you can from in there. You're speaking to us well. You're in there. You got drive. I was in the construction class. Something like you had touched on, man. I was in there working. Hey, $15 a month. Oh, I got 30. You know what? Now I'm way past that. So where I'm at today, man. I've been out 4.5 years after doing a decade straight. I came home. And the couple that were there for me, man, his sister gave me like a renter's little house in Danvers, man. I remember to this day. That house saved my life, man, because I was away from everybody and all I did was work. So I went back to the union. I was fortunate enough they still let me back when I came home. I was doing concrete. And I knew, man, idle hands will get me in trouble. So, I just wasn't working enough. So then I started finding side jobs. Man, them side jobs started leading to different connections. Hey, this guy likes your work you just did. Well, I took some pride in it, man. I want this. I was hungry. I was starving. And start finishing concrete again, start doing side jobs. The last part of the union before I got out of the union, I had an opportunity to do some polishing and epoxy. What that opportunity did for me, man, is that I traveled the United States for about 2 years doing big car plants, Apple in California. I mean, a lot of epoxy, man. And my mother got sick, so I came back to Illinois because I was over in Ohio. And I remember one thing she said. She said, "Courtney, are you gonna keep making money for that man, or are you gonna make it for yourself?" And that's when right there, what? And speaking on that, man, that right there gave me all the energy in the world, man. There was no one going to stop me, and they still haven't stopped me to this day. I'm currently with Reliable Concrete. I partnered up with Brant Bowman over there. Man, we're tackling the town job at a time. I've also got myself involved in epoxy. Started my own small epoxy company. We do countertops. We do floors. I mean, I can epoxy anything. And what this epoxy has done for me, man, I kind of felt myself backtracking, like, man, what it'd be like to be out there again. And I don't know why I started thinking that. So when I started doing this epoxy, what it's done is it got my mind together now. You get creative with it. Man, you can mess it up, sand it off, do it again. It's like I'm doing this around the house. I got the family doing it. I got the little boy doing it. Like, I'm very successful right now, man. And there's no limits for me, man. I want it, and I want it, and I'm gonna go until I can't get it no more, man. That's gonna be retired, my friend.
I love it. I always thought there were two types of people in the world, followers and leaders, Courtney. But I found out during my incarceration that there were 3 types of people. You have followers, you have leaders, and then you have the leaders of the leaders, right? And you fall under that category. You've fallen under that category as one of the leaders of the leaders. That's why you have to understand that and use it for good,
Absolutely.
So I love it. Anthony,
Yes.
same thing, man. Incarceration is behind us. We're home. We've got an opportunity to provide for our family, be the man in the house. We're back on our feet. What does that look like for you today, as a father, as a provider?
I will say this.
What are you doing out here in this community now, with
So-
incarceration behind you?
So with incarceration behind me, I own a business, a general contracting business. From nail to sale, I mean, real estate investor, all the way, the whole giddy up. I'm probably doing the best I've ever been in my entire life. So moving back to move forward, like Courtney said, like Mike said, like you said, we all remember being in that place, and like it wasn't the beginning of my time, it wasn't the end of my time, it was right in the middle, like I'm just in this idle space, and it's like I'm not ever doing this again. And like you said, if I'm going to work for 30 cents a day in this place, then when I get to where I'm going, the sky's the limit because I can write my own ticket, you know? So I never really questioned, you know, what my success was going to look like because I'm at the bottom right now. So if I go from prison to work, like you said, working at McDonald's, making, you know, $10 an hour, I'm killing it, right? So kind of like similar to what Courtney said, I was in the union for a multitude of years working for somebody else. And just like, and I can speak for myself, I can speak for Mike, I can speak for you, Langston, like somebody kind of telling me what to do really isn't my thing. I don't want you to limit, you know, I don't want you to limit my possibilities. I don't want you to put a roof on top of me. But that's the one thing that I can say that prison helped me with. When somebody's telling you, when you're an adult and somebody's telling you what to do and telling you what you can't do, and you'll never be more than this, and you'll be back, and all those, you know, all those encouraging kicks is what I call it. You know, I could have wallowed in what they were saying to me, but no, that wasn't what it was. And I just used it as motivation. So when I got here, like my support system, like this is Bloomington, you know, Bloomington has a really weird cushion, you know, like Mike said, like I went to jobs and I went to places and I tried to, you know, go in a different sector, and it really wasn't for me. And like you said, when it came down to the background thing, like I'm probably and I'm just speaking for myself, I'm probably one of the most articulate people in the world. So I can talk you into anything, but the actual paperwork says that, yeah, you can't do this because of this. And hold on, what to the backside? There's some more back there too for you. So I just was like, okay, I'm going to do my own thing. And the same type of energy that I was applying to work for other people so that they could pat me on the head and tell me that I'm a really good employee, I did it for myself. And honestly, I mean, I bought a building. I'm actually in my shop now. I just bought a house. I employ 3 people, not actually 4 people, because I had a guy before we got this. I just hired a guy. I honestly, I'm scared when is this bubble gonna bust, because we're skyrocketing. I don't have it all figured out. You know, I don't have it all figured out. Like, you know, we talked about this, but this type of struggle and this type of fear is way better than worrying about if somebody's gonna kick my door down or, you know, running from the police or anything like that. And for me, I can say this and I don't want to get off subject. For me, coming home, I think that, you know, you have to be a person that want to ask the question. And then, like, I think that the resources that we do have, because we have all the resources in the world in Bloomington, the reality of the problem is, how do we get to them? Like, because I don't like, and I'm not shunning anybody or saying, like, so people with drug addictions, like, we got that covered. We know there's 10,000 places to go. But if I don't have a drug addiction and I don't know where to get money and I don't know, like, because it was never my parole officer's responsibility to tell me who I need to go to. He just does the stuff that he's told. He trickles it down to me. So if I'm not a person that's conscious of, like, well, damn, I want to do better for myself, where can I go to at least get some help or get pointed in the right direction? So that, being part of this panel, that is kind of a thing that I see that we need, because myself personally, I am adamant about hiring guys fresh out of prison. A, because of what we said, they work hard. They work harder than anybody in the world. And B, you know, you get an opportunity to talk to people from different walks of life and different things that come from different backgrounds. And they open your eyes, they open my eyes to different things. And it's like, well, I got a guy that works for me now. And he's probably hands down one of the best barbers I've ever seen. But he doesn't have enough money to open his own thing. So, you know, and actually, like, so when we get done with this, I'm gonna holler at you about it. I'm gonna point him in the right direction, because he has no resources and he doesn't know where to go. He's still on parole and he should be off parole shortly, but he doesn't know where to go. But sticking to the point, I'm doing okay, and I thank God every single day that I am doing okay. You know, and I want to be of service to people that are in similar situations or have been in similar situations that I've been in, because I may not be able to tell you everything right, but I can tell you everything you shouldn't do to get back in that position. I know all of that. I got that down.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And I think that's what's amazing about this conversation. is what one of the things that, I love that you just spoke about, is realizing that the cognitive thinking behind being a
Yes.
drug dealer is the same as being a drug user. I'm
Yes.
willing to
Yes.
put myself, my safety, my health, all at risk for a reward, to feel
Yes.
good, to have some more money. Money becomes the drug. That
Yes.
becomes the addiction. That becomes the identity. How do I get more of it? How do I feed this? I go out here into the world and I manufacture and I deliver. And I am able to feed my addiction of earning money. But it's awesome to be able to do that in a legal capacity, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
use those same gifts of sales, growth, and leadership,
Yes.
whether to apply it to a job, a business, or anything. Caleb, I want to hear from you on, before we get actually, I think I skipped Mike. Mike, I want to come to you. Talked about something, the health aspect of it, your journey spiritually, the things. I want to hear from you about what you're doing now, to better yourself, things you're doing in the community, outside of just working. I feel like you've got some things going on. You've got a path that you're following now for your future, building a brand, that kind of thing. I want to hear from you about that real quick. Just tell me what you got going on.
All right. So basically, I have started, I do the personal training thing. So basically, I love helping people reach their goals fitness wise. But there came a time where, and like I said, my main motto, I created the brand of Never Cared. I don't know if you guys heard it, but it's definitely probably the next big thing in fitness. I started a clothing brand. I started with a t-shirt, and I started with a t-shirt, and it's basically based off the premise of not caring how others feel, you know what I'm saying, about you, not caring about other people's opinions. Other people's opinions don't basically depict you as a person. You know what I'm saying? You can feel how you want to feel about me, but I'm still gonna be the best version of myself. So basically, I built a clothing brand off of that as itself. I started off with t-shirts. I went from t-shirts to sweatshirts. Now I went from sweatshirts to having nothing but fitness apparel. I've traveled so far. I started the brand. I made it an LLC a year ago, and in that year, we've been to LA Fit Expo. We've been to Columbus, Ohio. We've been to Columbia, Missouri. We've been to Chicago twice, and we've been to Dallas, Texas. We have this next year coming up is going to be very busy for us. We're going to Chicago within the next 2 months, and these are big shows. These are shows where you'll see Ronnie Coleman has been next to me. Joy Swoll has been right next to me. People that you see on Instagram, on YouTube, they're sitting in the booth right next to me. So to come from where I'm coming from, you know what I'm saying, and have my background and be right next to these people and be in the same crowd of these people, bro, it speaks a lot. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I'm building a premise of, yo, listen, it doesn't matter how others feel about you. You can still be the best version of yourself. And that's what I built my brand off of. And that's why so many people can resonate with this brand. It doesn't matter if you've been in trouble. It doesn't matter if you haven't been in trouble. Somebody has told you in your lifetime that you weren't good enough to be something. We don't care about none of that. We don't care about that. We're here to prove them wrong. We're here to prove them that we're everything that we want to be. And just because they have a limited mindset, our mindset is not limited. The sky's the limit for us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm showing others that anything is possible if they put their mind to it. So with that brand, like, and it's caught fire so quickly that it's just insane. And honestly, I'm blessed. Like, I feel like I'm living somebody else's life, to be honest with you, because I didn't think this would be possible. You know what I'm saying? For me to meet some of the people that I meet and continue to meet on a regular basis, and to see the people that like are under me, like, bro, hey, I ain't gonna lie, it touched me here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of tough. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get like real caught up about it, but bro, to see the people that are behind me and believe in my message, it means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? So that continues to make me want to go more and more and harder every day.
That's amazing. I want to tell you your story. Like, that motivates me. You know, I'm actually traveling a very similar journey right now, just with my health, my weight. You know, I looked up, I was 247 pounds, man, and I'm 5'6.5". You know, it did not fit right. And I've been kind of on the same journey. And so that's what this is all about. That's what we're doing here today, is if this person can do it, I can do it. I can follow the steps. I can look at what the procedure is. I can see people that are walking a path that I want to walk, and I can find out how they did it, and I can follow those steps. So I thank you guys all for being here. I do want to get just a final thought. Kayla, any final thoughts for anybody that's out there that's, just chasing that demon, man, they're living that lifestyle. They're looking for a way out, and they land on this phone call. They land on this YouTube video, looking. Talk to them for a second. Tell them what you would say to yourself before those 100 and something days clean. Give them some advice.
I mean, the best advice I can give you is just like, don't give up on yourself. I mean, definitely don't quit before the miracle happens, because I honestly feel like we're here to live a good life. And it's just us figuring out who we are as a person, like why we do what we do, noticing what our behaviors are, and just figuring out what the cause of it is. Like me as a person, like I always say, like growing up was like me showing my emotions in my family and then people around me was like bleeding in a shark cave. Like it was like I just could not show vulnerability, and to just put yourself in a situation where you can be vulnerable and just learn who you are as a person and throw that ego to the side. My ego was like the main cause of everything, of me just not being able to be who I truly am as a person. So just surround yourself around people who truly love you so you can be that person to figure out who you are and to heal from like whatever trauma you've dealt with in your life. And I mean, it's never too late to turn your life around.
Wow, I thank you, Kayla, so much. Those words were powerful. Thank you. Courtney, you said you started selling drugs, man, at 12 years old, bro. I want you to think about what you would go back and say to your 12, 13-year-old, 14-year-old adolescent self as a young man. You're growing up in this world. You're trying to figure it out on your own. What would you go back and say to that young man today? Voices.
Oh man, I would definitely go back and tell myself those different routes and don't settle for less, man. It's definitely say pat what I was doing. I was playing sports at the same time, and man, don't bring me down, man. Definitely I would lead in a different way, you know. Just because I was involved in something against someone else involved in something that I was involved in, building this team, I could have built that on the football field. I could have built that team in the baseball field. I could have had the kids up there in the trailer park, the basketball hoop. That's what I would tell myself, man. Get these youngsters to play sports, hang out with them, be who I am here to be today, Give that motivation to the youngsters, man. Hey, things might not be okay at home, man. Let's go for this park. Let's not go out and tear up someone else's neighborhood. Let's not go sell these drugs, Definitely bring a better impact on the youth today, and be there for one another instead of tearing each other apart. Hey man, that kid ain't got that over there, so man, he can't hang with us. That's not the way to be, man. Definitely bring everybody together as one and fight for what's right and believe in it, man, and do nothing better.
Thank you. Anthony, that's really just trying to figure, this world out, man. He's got kids, he's a provider, but he might be cutting some corners, man. He might be willing to take some unnecessary risks out there because he doesn't see another way. What kind of things would you say to him about those decisions?
So I feel like where I'm at when I have these conversations, because these are real conversations that I have with people. There is no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts in life.
Nice.
Let's just flat out say what it is. There's no shortcuts in life. If school is your thing, you got to go to school. If you're going to the trades, you got to go to trades. If whatever it is that you want, nothing has come easy that's been worth having. You got to work for it, So honestly, anything anything that I feel like I've obtained that was quick, that was smooth, there was no effort put behind it, none of it sustained. None of it is around. Everything that I had to get up early in the morning and stay late at night and go through the fire and oh my God, and cried and all this stuff is still here right now. Right here. It's right now, tangible stuff that I can show you and touch that we've done. But anything that I came from quick money, anything that came, like Courtney said, the people, the stuff, it's not real. That's not real. This is a facade. We're living a facade, you know? So, you know, kind of like expounding on what you said, Courtney, if I look back and I thought about kind of some of the stuff that I've been through and some of the decision making, because a lot of it is decision making, the decision making and the things that have transpired over time, you know, probably first and foremost, we all probably would have listened to our mamas and not done half the stuff that we did, because mom has always been right. She's always been right. Mama, rest in peace, mom. I'm gonna say it now. She's always been right. You know, kind of like back to what Courtney said as well. Like all of us, we all of us collectively have led each other astray. We've all of us on this call that have been through this have all interacted in one way or another, right? Yep. And like you know, I can remember just situations and things that I've been with all of y'all. And if I said, no, if I was man enough to say, hey, bro, we shouldn't do this, we should do this. Or, you know, knowing that something is wrong, but not saying something about it. Back then we looked at that like, bro, you weak. You know, you ain't on nothing. That's, you know, those type of things. I feel like, and I try to instill this in my guys and kids and people that I'm around, bro, don't be afraid to be yourself. Speak up. You know, don't be so timid and be so shy. If you know something isn't right, say it, because before you know it, you're going to have yourself in something that you cannot get yourself out of. You know, and I find that more times than not is what it is. But I'm also noticing that a lot of us that didn't grow up with father figures, a lot of us that didn't grow up a certain type of way, we never learned really how to be a man. We assumed what being men were by what we thought was the answer. Well, I'm the toughest and I'm the realest and I'm the realest. Well, I'll show you that you're not the realest. You know, I don't, you know, I have no issue saying that. The police will let you know that you're not the realest. They're going to let you know who you really are. And once they give you that, and once you submit to that situation, then you realize, like, you know what? Maybe my thinking was off, and maybe my mindset was off, you know? And when you look at it, you really take a chance to sit back and look at kind of all the things that we've been through. Like, this is really silly. This is stupid. Like, this is really stupid, you know? But in a sense, I would say that I'm glad that I went through it, because now I can literally say that I can be of a service or a help to somebody else to say, hey, this is what this looks like. And I can tell you what this looks like, because I got the t-shirt, I got the hat, I got all the, you know, all the flyers that go along with all this stuff, you know? So me having that conversation and being a provider and being like all those things, Langston, like it's a tough thing, because I want us to have an answer for this so that we can stop this. I hate it, and it isn't a black thing, it isn't a white thing, it isn't a Mexican thing. It's us as a people thing. I see more young guys go to jail now than I have ever seen, but they're not going to jail for selling drugs and doing the stuff that we're doing. They're killing each other, like at an alarming rate. Their first reaction and their first thought is straight to violence. And me as a person, I haven't given up on the world yet, man. So, you know, if we can come up with something collective, I'd like to be a part of it, and I want to understand it, man. So I'm here.
I love it. I love it. Michael, I'll tell you what, man. Earlier, the computer, bro, you got a way of motivating people, man, and just a drive. You know, the things that you've accomplished are not, you know, things that you can accomplish without a tremendous amount of motivation and determination. I want you to just share briefly, real quick, give us some inspiring words. That guy that's been gone for a while, he's home. He's looking for resources. He's looking for, you know, some words of encouragement. give it to us. Man, into some questions here.
So basically, I'm gonna tell you like this, like you gotta what worked for me was I came to the point that I knew I was destined for better. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew God had I don't care if people believe in God, if they don't, there's some kind of higher power up there, right? So I knew I was destined for better than going in and out of jail. And you got to realize that too. That's something that you got to know. Like you weren't put on this earth just to go to work every day, come home, not do anything with yourself and just die. Like you was put on this earth to be you put on this earth to be something. You was put on this earth to be something productive. But we were all put on this earth for a purpose. And every time that you wake up every morning, there's a purpose for you. You might not know what that purpose is, but once you find it, you're going to find that it's going to find you. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to change, right, you're going to change. But if you don't want to change, you know what's in store for you. But the people that really want to change, man, they're not going to make any excuses about they can't find this or they can't find that. They're going to make a way out of it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to find that way. They're going to find that path. The thing is, you just can't give up. You know what I'm saying? Like just like exercising, right? When you exercise, the body gives up the minute it hits some resistance. Whenever you get to hitting some heavy weight or some mid to moderate weight and it's getting heavy and it's getting hard, your body takes the easy way out. So you break form. It's the same way with everyday life. As soon as we get a little resistance, or we think it's not meant. Oh, this person told me no, we can't get this job. Oh, so that means I need to go back to doing this. Nah, that means you need to stick to the plan. Make a plan, stick to the plan, and realize that plan, you're going to hit some bumps, you're going to hit some swerves, you're going to hit some curbs. There's never any straight road to success. There's never a straight road to you becoming a better version of yourself. Anytime that you want to level up in life or be a better version of yourself, you're going to get hit in the face 1,000,000 times. And this is going to be up to you to get there. Every time you fall down, you got to get up. And just like Eric Thomas says, man, just like you fall down, make sure you fall down on your back so you can see your way up. You know what I'm saying? If you fall down 7, get up 8.
Wow,
Mike, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man. I feel like if that was a reel, it would have 1,000,000 views on it, man. Thank you. I'm getting ready to go do some push-ups right now. But hey, listen, you guys, I thank you. I do want to, open up just the floor. If anybody on here has any questions for any individual panelists, Kayla, Mike, Courtney, or Anthony, now would be a great time to open the floor up for questions for someone else, if you have any. Yeah,
this is Toy Beasley. Thank you. I just want to thank Mike, Anthony, Courtney, and Kayla for coming here and sharing your story. It really inspired me. McLean County needs to hear you. And I truly believe that the more voices we have with people that have been justice impacted, we can help reduce recidivism. I truly believe when people get an opportunity like you guys, people don't go back to crime. But I truly believe that our county, the county we live in, I'm talking about at the highest level, need to hear your story so they can be able, so you be able to impact others. So I just want to thank you again. I really appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing. I just want to remind everybody, because I might not get another chance to speak about our upcoming Reentry Fair. Anthony, Mike, Courtney, Kayla, we want to have you out there at Reentry Fair on May 4th. May 4th, that's going to be from 12 to 3 at the old YMCA, that's 602 South Main Street. We'd love to have you out there. We're going to have free food, barbecue, DJ, and more information, more resources. So I'd love to have everybody out. So thank you once again, you all, for coming today, and especially the panels that spoke.
Absolutely. Thank you. Colleen, you got any questions? Is that you with your hand up?
No, I was just clapping. I was clapping.
Oh, you were clapping. I thought that was you with your hand up.
I will say though that we're recording this and we're going to be putting it on our YouTube Reentry Council YouTube page, and we'll be pushing it out over social media too, so that people that weren't able to come can hear your voices.
Yeah, I agree with what Toy said. I think, everyone on this call, everyone on the panel today, they're from McLean County. They're from Bloomington, they left here and they re-entered here. And so, you know, that being said, you know, is huge. You know, when people have family and friends, sometimes you don't come home and have all of them, but if you're able to reconnect with a few, and when you get started, I think that's great that we heard that today. Is it only takes a handful. You know, if you can count all of your close people on one hand, I mean, you're doing pretty good, you know, in life, because there's some people that don't have anybody. And so that's what the McLean County Reentry Council has even do that for that person that doesn't have that mother's couch that they can be paroled home to, that person that doesn't have, you know, that old employer that they can go back to and get their job back with them. We try to help with those resources right here. And I think one of the hugest resources is what we heard today is true, raw, real testimony from you guys. And so again, I thank you. Is there any more questions from anyone else on here for any of these guys? See, Elise has got her hand up.
Hi, my name's Elise. I'm with Decatur Parole, but I also help with McLean County Parole Resources. And I just wanted to ask, what do you feel like is the biggest obstacle to getting resources when you are fresh back into the community?
Let's see. Do one of you guys want to take this one?
I probably was the closest person to parole because they both of these guys have been home for a while now. I think it's more like your relationship with your officer, because like I said, Bloomington's kind of a special place because Bloomington will pick you up on its own. Like, you know, people will see like, hey, you know, this place is hiring, or because we're still kind of small townish. But I think that if the officer or your person or whoever it is that you report to, if they could just give you, you know, just, you know, even if it's just, if they wrap off 3 of them to you, like, hey, you can go here, here, and here for these things, because I understand that, like, you know, their workload and how they work. So, you know, this is a job. Like, they're just, hey, we just don't get in trouble and stay out the way. You know, that's kind of what it is. So I think if it was more readily available, or like, I just like, honestly, even now, I don't know where you would go to get help if you didn't have a place to live or you didn't have any of those things, because it just was we honestly never talked about it. And I've been off parole.
I want to elaborate on that a little bit, Anthony, to answer her question. Is I think one of the biggest barriers to obtaining resources is the lack of motivation to search for them, to look for them. I think that a lot of that is internal. You know, your parole officer can drag you to Rivian every day and make sure you go inside, but he cannot go in there with you and make sure that you're a productive employee all day, every day, 40 hours, a week. So that one of the things for me, you guys, is, you know, my mental health maintenance, the substance abuse treatment, those types of things never stopped for me. So it's my first time in my life that I still go and sit down with a counselor and a therapist and work on my cognitive behavioral thinking, and I'm not court ordered to do it. There's no judge telling me I have so many days to get this done. There's no parole officer. You know, I got signatures on my sheet. I go to it now because it's what I need. I have to change the oil on my truck. I have to change the tires and to check the air pressure on my Chevy. I have to maintenance this thing just like I do my work trucks, or else it's going to break down on me. So for anybody that's listening that wants the answer to that question, it is, you have to look for it. The biggest barrier is going to be yourself, and it's going to be admitting the fact that you need that whole officer telling you that you need the help.
Mm-hmm. And then piggyback on what Langston said, another key is, though, contacting us, the McLean County Reentry Council, through our email at mcleancountyreentrycouncil@gmail.com, and we can help funnel some of those particular resources. Or I think the Ross has an app Kat, I think Kat put it in the chat. Kat, if you want to put that in the chat, that's another thing where you can get resources at. And two is if a person's coming to McLean County and they need some assistance, reach out to us. We will walk with them. I know I will. Me, Langston, a few other people that does a lot of work around here, we will walk with them. Because I know there's a lot of people that get out of prison, to get out of the county jail, that they need that person to walk with them because of anxiety, because of self-esteem, because of pride and things like that. We will walk with them. Now, we are in the process of building that navigation system that we can have people that work with them. Right now, we ain't there, but that's another thing that we would do. That's another thing that we're planning on doing with the council is building that navigation system. So those are some things I think that we could do in McLean County. If you have further questions that we can help you with.
Thank you very much.
There are some people that are going to watch it. They're going to Google McLean County or Reentry or something, and this video is going to come up. There's some people that are going to watch 6 minutes of it, and they're going to go on to something else. And there's other people that really want this thing, and they're going to be an hour and 20 minutes in this video because something was said that made them want to continue. Sorry, go ahead. Did you have another? Okay. Is that Vera? Is that you? Is that you with your hand up?
Yeah. Yes. So hi, my name is Vera, and I am the program coordinator of Labyrinth. And I just want to say thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, everybody. Especially the panelists. Like I'm already pretty high motivated person, but man, y'all dropped it today. Y'all got me ready to go out, knock on some doors, make sure that everybody come to the Reentry Fair May 4th. Like y'all really, really, really motivated me. So I just really wanted to say thank you guys. I'm a person with lived experience too. So I was traveling and moving around and doing that, but I was hearing y'all. I felt y'all today. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
No problem.
Absolutely. Are there any announcements? Does anybody else on here, do they have any announcements that they would like to drop on here about their upcoming event or anything like that?
This Sunday, let me see if I remember this time. I believe at 2:00 there is a affordable housing happening at Western Avenue. If you're not busy, come on out. I think you do have to get signed up, but there's opportunities to win free gift cards. So if you know somebody who would be interested in affordable housing, come on out, Western Avenue.
Awesome. I do want to remind everybody that you can go follow us at the McLean County Reentry Council on Facebook, also the YouTube channel. Quick announcement, Toy Beasley and I are going to be live on WMBD out of Peoria TV. We are going to be just marketing and promoting for the resource fair. So if you get a chance, tune in. They're going to do a live interview with Toy and I. We're going to get the resource fair that's coming up. I'm kind of excited about that. And I want to tell you guys again, thank you everybody for being here. I think we had an amazing conversation today. One last time, May 4th, Eastview Community Center, 602 South Main Street, McLean County Reentry Resource Fair. There's going to be vendors. There's going to be food. There's going to be a DJ, games. Bring your family. Come get something to eat. Hear testimonials, live testimonials from people, just like we did do network with mental health providers, substance abuse treatment providers, housing, jobs. I mean, all types of stuff. If you're really looking to start over, I would not miss this Reentry Resource Fair, May 4th, you guys. So I thank you, and we'll see you all the next time. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Great job.
Thank